Okay, children, welcome back. So, today we will be doing different types of forces. But before doing different types of forces, let us see something about force in slightly more detail. Now, supposing this is a box lying on the ground. A force F1, say of 50 Newton, is applied from left to right. Another force F2 of 20 Newton is applied on the same box from right to left. Supposing one of your friend is applying a force of 50 Newton trying to push this box from left to right. Another friend is pushing the same box from right to left. In which direction will the box move? So then we come to the next term, which is called as resultant force. Resultant force will be sum of the two forces. But whenever, you know that force is a vector quantity. Now whenever this force is to be given, you must mention the direction. Supposing I take this direction from left to right. From left to right as positive direction. So naturally, force which will be applied on the same box from right to left, it will become negative. So now let us see. So resultant force will be equal to 50 Newton plus minus of 20 Newton. Now why this minus sign? Because this, I have taken the actual direction of the force as positive from left to right. So when a force is applied from right to left, it will have a negative sign. So net force is 30 Newton towards right. Understood? So this is called resultant force. When a number of forces are acting on an object, then the algebraic sum of all the forces which can be represented by a single force is called as the resultant force. Clear? So here you come to know about the definition of resultant force. Similarly, if two forces of equal magnitude, supposing here F1 is 50 Newton, F2 is also 50 Newton. F1 is 50 Newton, F2 is also 50 Newton. Two equal and opposite forces are acting on the same body. Then in which direction will it move? So here resultant force will be, in the second case, resultant force will be F1 plus F2, that is equal to 50 Newton plus minus of 50 Newton, which comes to 0. That means the body will not move at all. It will remain stationary. Clear? Now you must have observed that I have mentioned a new term which is called as magnitude. Now what is the meaning of this magnitude? Magnitude means value. What is called? Value. Now this magnitude has two parts. One is numerical part or numeric part. Another is unit. So whenever I am writing 50 Newton, so 50 is the numeric part and Newton is the unit. So any physical quantity means a quantity which can be measured. Any physical quantity can be described with a magnitude in a better way. So whenever I am saying 50 Newton force, that means 50 Newton is the magnitude of the force. Now generally magnitude of a force is represented by an arrow. So if the arrow is small, it represents a small force. If the arrow is big, it represents a big force. Clear? Next, we come to the second part of it, which I was telling you about, that is types of forces. So, I was telling you about types of forces. Now, there are chiefly two types of forces. First is called as contact force and another is called as non-contact force. Now, you must have understood that whenever I am speaking of force, there must be two bodies. One body is exerting the force and the other body is that one on which the force is being exerted. So it is always an interaction between two bodies. Now contact force is that force when the body which is exerting the force and the body on which the force is being exerted, both these bodies are connected with each other either directly or through a medium. Through a medium means, supposing when you kick a ball with your foot, the foot and the ball comes in contact with each other. Foot is the first body which is exerting the force. Ball is the second body on which the force is being exerted. So the ball and the foot both are coming in contact with each other. So here this is an example of contact force. On the other hand, when with the help of the handle of your umbrella, you are pulling your friend backward towards you. So you are exerting a force on your friend. You are the person who is exerting the force. Your friend is the second body on which the force is exerted. And how you are pulling him? With the help of the U-like neck of the umbrella. So this is the medium through which you are coming in touch with the other body indirectly. So when two bodies will come in contact with each other directly or indirectly, when force is being exerted by one on the other, such type of forces are called as contact forces. I will give you three different examples of contact force. First, muscular force. Muscular force, we understand? The force exerted by our muscles. Whenever you are pushing or you are pulling, whenever you are kicking a football, whenever you are pedaling your bicycle, all are examples of muscular force. You are pulling up a bucket of water, that is muscular force, or you are pulling a trolley, that is a muscular force. All these are examples of muscle. Whenever you are applying a force with the help of your muscles, that is muscular. Whenever you are chewing, that is muscular force. So these are all contact force. Why? Because you are directly in contact with the body on which the force is being exerted. Second, frictional force. Whenever you are walking, the sole of your shoe and the ground, they are in contact with each other. There is constant friction going on. So, with the help of this frictional force, actually, you are able to walk on the ground. This will come later when we do friction in a better way. Simple. When you kick a football or when you roll a ball on the ground, you will find after some time the ball stops. Why does it happen? That is because the frictional force is exerted between the two surfaces, the surface of the ball and the surface of the ground. And it is an opposing force, so it will decrease the speed and gradually it will stop the ball. So frictional force is the next force which is a form of contact force. Third is force of tension. Now this is not the tension which you always have before your exam regarding your studies. This is different tension. Now let me give you an example. You must have seen that from the ceiling, with the help of a chain or with the help of a rope, something is hung. A bucket can be hung, or an earthen pot can be hung in villages you have seen. So actually the string or the chain is pulling the bucket towards itself. So a force is exerted by the string on the bucket or on the earthen pot, due to which it is not falling. The bucket or the earthen pot is not falling. So this force by which the string, the rope or the chain is pulling the bucket, that is called as force of tension. It is also an example of contact force because both are in contact with each other. Clear? Next you come to non-contact force. The name tells you, the name suggests you. Here both bodies are physically not in contact with each other either directly or indirectly. Clear? So first example of non-contact force is force of gravity. Now whenever you throw a stone upwards towards the sky, you will find that the stone comes towards the ground. How is it coming? Actually, the earth is pulling the force, the earth is pulling the stone towards itself. So this force which the earth is exerting on the stone, for which the stone is moving towards the ground, is an example of non-contact force, and this force is called as force of gravity. Here the ground is not in contact with the stone when the stone is in the sky. They are not in contact with each other either physically, either directly or indirectly. Hence it is an example of non-contact force. Second, magnetic force. Now you must have seen that whenever a magnet is brought near some iron nails, the iron nails gets pulled by the magnet towards itself. So initially the magnet and the iron nails, they are not in contact with each other. But still the magnet is capable of pulling the iron nail towards itself. So this is an example of non-contact force and it is called as magnetic force. Number 3, electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is which one? Now you must, when you were children, when you were small boys and girls in the school, you must have played with bits of paper and a plastic ruler. Do you remember? You have done no? What you did? You made bits of paper on the desk, then took out your plastic ruler, rubbed it nicely on your hair and held it above those tiny bits of paper. And you had great fun when these tiny bits started jumping up and down and few of them got stuck with the plastic ruler. Now why this happened? This is happening because whenever you are rubbing the plastic ruler with your hair, it develops some charges, either positive or negative. So when the plastic ruler is brought near the bits of paper, the opposite charges which are present in the bits of paper, they are being attracted by the plastic ruler. As a result, the bits of paper starts moving towards the plastic scale and it is getting attached to it. Did you understand? So this is called electrostatic force. This is also an example of non-contact force. Clear, children? So remember, two types of forces. One is called contact force, one is the non-contact force. Contact force is that one where both bodies are in contact with each other either directly or indirectly. 3 examples: muscular force, frictional force, force of tension. Other one is non-contact force. Here, when two bodies are not in contact with each other either directly or indirectly, then such type of force is called as non-contact force. Again 3 examples: force of gravity, magnetic force, electrostatic force. Did you understand? So this much you should understand with example, Write them down in your rough copy, and all question answers must be written by you all, because up to class 7 I have given all question answers you have written, you know how to write them. So you will write these question answers which is given at the back of the chapter in the exercises when I will tell, then only. And then keep your notes copy, physics copy ready. As soon as the school reopens and we start our regular class, you will bring all your copies and then it will be checked. Clear? So like the video, subscribe to YouTube channel and share with your friends. Bye till your next class.